Hare Krishna. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Śrīmati Bhakti-Vikāsa Swami Niti Namine. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Śrīmati Bhakti-Vedanta Swami Niti Namine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarini. Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhaktavinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So welcome you all for this Brahma-saṁhitā discussions. Today we'll be reading Shloka 51. Agnir mahi gaganamambu maruddhishasya kalastathatma manasiti jagatrayani yasmad bhavanti vibhavanti vishanti yamcha govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami. Translation. The three worlds are composed of the 9 elements: fire, earth, ether, water, air, direction, time, soul, and mind. Either the primeval Lord Govinda, from whom they originate, in whom they exist, and into whom they enter at the time of the universal cataclysm. So here, in today's shloka, we are hearing that the 3 worlds are composed of the 9 elements, and these elements create everything. Whatever we see, whatever we hear, whatever we conceive, whatever even can imagine, they are coming into this category. Other gross or subtle material elements, plus the soul as a spiritual element there. And all of these originate from Krishna. So that shows that everything emanates from him. Whatever exists, whatever is perceivable, whatever is shaped, whatever is any subtle or gross, everything is coming from Krishna. So who is Supreme Lord? Everything origin from him. They exist because of he maintains it, and at the end of the creation, everything is withdrawn back to him. So this is how this shloka shows that Krishna is supreme. That elements and the deities presiding over each element. Srila Jiva Goswami comments in this shloka that there are elements and deities presiding over the element. There is a earth element and there is a Mother Bhumi Devi. She's presiding deity over element earth. There is water and presiding deity over the water, Varuna. There is a Vayu, air, presiding deity over element air, as we know. So every element has, every power has a Shaktiman, Shakti and Shaktiman. Every power is controlled by somebody. And all these elements and the controlling deities are created, maintained, and destroyed by the Lord. So he is rightly said to be Supreme Lord because he controls them, he sustains them, he maintains them. Everything comes from him. Nobody is independent of him. So this is a really amazing shloka. They say whatever exists, nothing exists without Krishna. Nothing exists without independent state. There is no independent state. There is no somebody that, oh, actually I came on my own. Everything originates from Krishna. We'll read the purport and then we'll discuss. Purport. There is nothing in the 3 worlds save the 5 elements, 10 quarters, time, jiva, soul, and the mental principle, allied with the subtle body consisting of mind, intelligence, and ego of conditioned souls. Look at the statement, no? Nothing is there. Tell me one thing, imagine one thing. And you can see it fits into the description. Say something. Which one? Yeah, energy of the Lord. Okay, so here you have material energy and spiritual energy. Both are there. Say any object. Planet, sun, made of fire. Of course, all mixed elements are there present, but prominent is the fire. Prominent is the fire element. And air is there also. And space is there. It's situated in the space, into directions, correct? And started with the time, And the time will come when the sun will also switch off, when pralaya comes. And we know what is made of. And then there is a subtle presiding deity over sun, Surya there. So the sun is there, energy is there, presiding deity is there. All of them come from the Lord, they are sustained by the Lord, and they will be withdrawn when pralaya comes at the time of destruction. Anything, think of something, it's there, it's fitting. Either it's subtle or gross. Desires, feelings, hate, anger, love, everything is manifestation of mind, intelligence, ego, all of those. We know in Gita, no? Bhumi apo nalovayo kamanur buddhevacha ahankara iti yame bhinna prakriti astada apareyam itastvanyam prakriti vidime param. Even jiva is prakriti. Everything is energy of the Lord. So everything comes from him. So this is described here. Okay. Now, the elevationists, karmis, make their offerings and sacrifice in the fire. Elevationists, karmis, making sacrifices. Now, this is described the karmis who are doing something to get material benefit. They also accept these 9 elements. They also are living of these material elements. They are made of these elements. Soul, mind, ego, intelligence, and body is made of these 5 gross elements. They're also made of it. And they also acknowledging it. Because materialistic person, karmis, what do they see? They see that, oh, material world is matter. So they accept these elements. And those who are Vedic followers, they believe in soul also. They know, okay, if I do sacrifices, next life I will go to heaven, I'll have better life. So they accept the soul is there, they are dealing. So they do their offerings in sacrifice in fire. Elevation means to be promoted within the universe. Material karmas they are doing, which will promote them in the better place in the universe. Conditioned souls know nothing beyond this perceptible world of 9 elements. And today's people, today most of the population is uninformed of existence of the soul, uninformed of existence of the spiritual world. They don't believe, they laugh when you speak. God is there, who knows? Maybe he's there, maybe he's not there. Spiritual world, perfect world, when everything is nice, when everything is under control of the Lord, when everything is organized, when everything is just perfect. Perfect heat, perfect bodies, perfection of life, eternal life, no disease, no old age, no pain, no hate, no quarrel, no taxes, no wars. Just too perfect, cannot exist. We don't accept, we don't believe. But that's their ignorance. That is their ignorance. Then why you are seeking for it? Why this desire to have perfect family here, to have long life here, never to die, never to separate, never to experience pain? Where is this coming from idea? Where is the idea coming for desire for perfection? Because soul is eternal. Soul belongs to the spiritual world. Here we are in wrong place. Here we are in Maya, and we are seeking for the perfection. We are seeking for the perfect place. Vaikunta, no miseries. We are looking for that place, which is beyond material influence, which is beyond time influence. So today, conditioned soul, they know nothing. People, they do not know anything about the spiritual. What I see, this is what it is. This world is what we see, what we can smell, what we can touch, what we can experience. This is the world we know. Beyond this, we do not know. Scientists even today speculate whether there is life on other planets. Yeah, but even children can understand this. Look at night in the sky. Millions of stars are there, planets are there. Of millions and millions and millions, these heavenly bodies are there, floating in the air. And you say only on this one tiny place there is earth, there is a life. Only on earth there is a life. Who will believe in this? Who will believe in this? Our planet has life, you are looking up, maybe some life is there also. That's more common, better logic to conceive, to propose that yes, must be some life there. Yeah? But today people are so ignorant, they're so ignorant. They're just like just like a chicken, chicken can focus only on the grains, walking, cannot look left, right and think what I'm doing here, what's the goal of life, nothing, just working meaninglessly. Working for sense gratification, for temporary material things. This is meaningless life. Now, they don't think why I'm born, why I have to die, why all these things, what is happening around me. So this conditioned soul, they know nothing beyond this perceptible world or 9 elements. That's only what they can conceive. We are here, made of matter, body is made of matter, and we have due to chemical reaction, we have our feelings, emotions, mind, heart, and when we die, everything is over. At least Vedic karmis, they believe in soul. At least this much, they were better. The jiva is the self-same soul whose ecstatic delight the joyless liberationists, jnanis, aspire after. Now, the jnanis, another category, they also accept these 9 elements, but they are more into the soul, understanding of the soul. The goal of life is to realize soul, self-realization. Aham Brahmasmi, that I am separate from this material enemy. What's that? Asango Hyayam Purusha. The soul has nothing to do with material world. Soul does not need material world. Soul does not need material body. Soul does not need to be in material world. Soul has spiritual form and belongs to spiritual world. But the jnanis, they know partial truth about soul. They know the soul is eternal and different from material elements, but they do not know that soul is eternal servant of God. So here they are called that joyless liberationalists. Why joyless? Because they realize Sat aspect of the Lord. They don't realize Chit, they don't realize Ananda. So without Ananda, the spiritual pleasure potency, you are joyless. So here, the Śrīla Bhakti will explain, no? The joyless liberationalists aspire after. They aspire to realize soul. So they also accept these 9 elements. So they also have to accept, where do they come from? Where do they come from? From the Lord. This is what the shloka says, that Krishna, from Krishna, souls are also coming. Tatastha Shakti. This is also Krishna's energy. Elements are Krishna's energy. Gross one, subtle one, Sukshma, Stula Sharira, everything, Nitya Sharira. All 3 are coming from Krishna. Jiva has no independent power to create, to move, to live, and that we'll explain today. Both the principles that are respectively depicted as Atma and Prakriti by the system of Sankhya are included in the above. Now there are Sankhyites, the philosophers of Sankhya Yoga. They analyze 24 elements. They analyze what is the body made of, what are the senses. Look at the body. What is body made of? Only what you see are senses. Body is made of senses. They have sense for perceptions, they have working senses, eyes, nose, ears, mouth, skin, tongue, voice, legs, hands, genitals. What is it? It's just the senses, nothing else left. Take out all the senses of the body. What you will find? The skeleton. No? It's made of the senses. Working senses, knowledge acquiring senses. Then you have mind, intelligence, ego. So they are searching, who am I? What I am? What is this made of? What is the truth? What is the reality? What is the life? What is death? What is matter? What is spirit? They analyze all of this. So they understand that Atma and Prakriti, interaction of Atma and Prakriti, the life is. Prabhupada sometimes says that we are a spiritual energy working in the material energy. Means that we got this material body upon us. We are spirit soul wearing the coat of material energy. This is what it is. You may say combination of matter and spirit, in the sense that life is really spirit, but we are now embodied. We are encaged. We are covered by material energy. Okay. In other words, all the principles that have been enunciated by all the speculative philosophers, Tattvavadis, are included in these 9 elements. So even any other philosophers who speculate what is life, what is the universe, what is the ultimate absolute truth, all these discussions ultimately discuss with this about these 9 elements. Either they discuss gross or subtle or spirit. So all of this have to hear that Sri Govinda is the source of the appearance, continuance, and subsidence of all these principles. Subsidence. So this is the point, that now for their information, Brahma speaks that Krishna is one, from whom all the elements come out, from whom they are sustained, by whom they are sustained, and into whom they will all enter at the end of the creation. So that again shows Krishna's supremacy over everything that exists, over everything. He's controller, maintainer, source of everything, and ultimately destroyer of it all. So this is described today. And this is important to understand in our life also, because then you see everything related to Krishna. What means Krishna consciousness? Krishna consciousness means that everything you see related to Krishna, every single thing, the gross, subtle, spiritual, everything you should see, we should see in relation to Krishna. That's called Krishna consciousness. As soon as you see something not related, or you conceive, or you think that something is not related to Krishna, that is Maya. There is nothing that is not related to Krishna. So this is explained. Okay, I'll just share some notes from Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada explains this. This is in Chaitanya Charitamrita. All material elements, as well as the spiritual sparks, individual souls, are emanating from the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This is confirmed by the Vedanta Sutra 112, Janmadhyasya Yataha. The absolute truth is He from whom everything emanates. Janma Ādi-keśava. Everything is born from Him. Janma Ādi-keśava. Everything comes from Him. This is Bhagavan. How you define God? One who created everything. Everything is born from Him. So this just confirms, Prabhupada confirms, all these elements are coming from the Lord. Everything comes from Him. He is the supreme truth. Satyam Param Dhimahi. The absolute, ultimate truth is Krishna. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Janmadhyasya Tonvayat Itarata Sharteshvabhigya Swarat. The absolute truth is a person who is directly and indirectly cognizant of the entire cosmic manifestation. So, this is the definition from the first sloka of Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, that everything emanates from Him, everything is maintained, sustained by Him, everything is known to Him. There is nothing that God does not know. There is nothing that exists that is not under His control. Universe is so vast, and He knows every nook and corner. He knows everyone's minds, everyone's desires. He knows how you came into creation. What are your desires? What you will get next life body? How long you will take it for salvation? Everything is known to Him. This is amazing. And all of this is controlled by Him also. Karmana daiva naitra, directly or indirectly, either through the agency of devatas or material energy, prakriti. Everything is known to Him. Now, remember, Lord expands into jiva. Whatever we experience, He can experience through the soul also. He can experience, whatever we do, He is also experiencing. Like I have my thoughts, my desires, my feelings, and you have your thoughts, your desires, your feelings. But Bhagavan knows both of those. When you are laughing, you are happy, I cannot relate. But Bhagavan can experience same joy you are experiencing on the moment, through you. He can see through your eyes. He can hear through your ears. He can think with your mind. Whatever you are doing, he is completely tuned in. He is absolutely aware. He knows us better than we know ourselves, because we are bewildered by mind and by Maya and by ego and all these things. But He knows exactly. Just see the control. Just see the supremacy of His. Just see His position related to us. Okay, so Srila Prabhupada, another place, this is in lecture 1973 in London, he says, quoting shloka, Agnir Mahi Ganam Ambu Marudishascha. This Mahi word is used there in the Vedas, Brahma-saṁhitā. What is that Mahi? Agnir Mahi. You require fire. You require land. You require sky. Agnir Mahi Gaganam Ambu. You require water. Agnir Mahi Gaganam Ambu Marut. You require air. You require space. These are requirements. Can you do anything without water, earth, space? Nothing exists without this. Agni Mahi Gaganam Ambu Marud Shasha. Kala. You require time, duration. Everything is there. Agni Mahi Gaganam Ambu Marud Shasha. Kala Statatma. Atma means this body. Atma refers to body, mind and soul. The word Atma means this body. Atma means mind. Atma means the soul. In Sanskrit, relate to three. So the Brahma-saṁhitā, you see, Agnir Mahiganambu Marudishascha Kala Stadatma Manasiti Jagatrayani Yasmad Bhavanti. Yasmad Bhavanti. All these things, where from they are coming? Yasmad, all this Bhavanti. From where they are originating, where they are coming from. They do not know. Can the scientists say, where from so much water has come? So as the ocean seas. But it has come from Krishna. Krishna says, Bhagavad Gita, Bhumir apo nalavayu kama nabudiyavacha bina prakriti ashtada. So this is important, that if we see, if we know this, then your perception of all, your consciousness, your life is different. The way you act, the way you respond is different. You won't pluck one flower unnecessary. You will not cut a tree unnecessary. You will not step on an ant unnecessary, knowing well what is it and what is his relation to Krishna. If you think that matter is only all in all, there is no God, there is no soul, there is no punya, papam, karma, there is no next life, then how you will, what is your attitude towards the nature? You may be nice still. You may say, anyway, it's nice till we live here. Let us have nice flowers around. But somebody will say, oh, I'm very shortly living. I'll collect all the flowers still from neighbors and, why should, life is one. Why to waste time, why should I work? I'll steal, I'll kill, get the money, enjoy life, because life is one. There is no God, there is no karma, there is no papa. So why should, so you see, based on your understanding of life is how you will act. Based on your understanding of God and creation is how you will act and react also in the situation. What is culture? Culture is the codex of behavior, your attitudes, your responses to the world based on your philosophy which you understand. If you think there is no God, then you can behave like you can drink, you can eat meat, you can smoke, you can take drugs, you can kill, you can harm, you can fight, you can do any nonsense because anyway you don't believe in God or so. No? But if you believe, if you understand, everything is related to Krishna and we have to take Punarapi Jananam, Punarapi Maran, then you don't want to do it. So it's so important. This is a little technical shloka today. Okay, it's a little explaining different technical things, how from God everything emanates. And just now we'll be going through Bhagavatam 2nd canto, which is you may say technical in that sense, but it's important to understand how everything is done by God, related to God, created by Him. Mechanism, how it operates, is made by Him, empowered by Him. Even other living entities who are involved, they're all empowered by Him. And if we see this, then this is Krishna consciousness. This is to seeing everything links to Krishna. That is Krishna consciousness. It's not only seeing Krishna in the deity form. Okay, this is also Krishna's energy. Light is also Krishna's energy. Intelligence is also Krishna's energy. Thoughts are also Krishna. Everything comes from Him. Thief thinks, nobody has seen me. But God is everywhere. God is seeing through the thief's eyes. A thief is stealing, thinking nobody is seeing me. Bhagavan is seeing through his own eyes. That's also describing us. Where you will hide. So ignorance makes us do foolish things. And then we suffer. We suffer karma, we get so much papa. Okay, so I'll be reading from the Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam 2nd canto, which describes creation. And we were already discussing how the subtle elements from ego, in ignorance, Rajagun and Sattvagun creates the demigods and the bodies, and all the elements come So I will not repeat that portion, but we'll just discuss from the Bhagavatam directly shloka and just see this, how from the Lord all these elements come and how they are put into action. It's a bit technical, but let's see if we can get that understanding how these elements are coming out. Okay, this is direct shlokas from Bhagavatam, 2nd canto, chapter 10, shloka 10. After separating the different universes, the gigantic universal form of the Lord, Mahavishnu, which came out of the causal ocean, the place of appearance for the first Purusha avatar, entered into each of the separate universes, desiring to lie on the created transcendental water, Garbhodaka. So now, after Mahavishnu exhales and millions of golden eggs, universes are created floating on the Karna ocean, he expands into second Purusha avatar, Garbhodaka Shri Vishnu, and enters into each universe. Now he is the one which we are speaking about, universal form, Virat Purusha, Virat Rupa, or Vishwarupa. This is the Garbhodaka Shri Vishnu. So this is described here. So shloka says, next shloka says, that Supreme Person is not impersonal and therefore is distinctly anara, or person. Therefore, the transcendental water created from the Supreme Nara is known as Nara. And because he lies down on that water, he is known as Narayana. So now, Garbhodaka Shri Vishnu enters into the universe, fills it half with the water. Because water came from person, it's called Nara. And one who lays down on that water is called Narayana. Of course, we heard many different definitions of Narayana, but this particularly here hints that the water comes from the body of the Lord. Okay, one should definitely know that all material ingredients, activities, time, and modes, and the living entities who are meant to enjoy them all exist by his mercy only. And as soon as he does not care for them, everything becomes non-existent. Look at this one, same shloka from Brahma-saṁhitā, just repeated, but more threatening kind of. And he doesn't care for them, they do not exist. Not the care, the Lord is a nice person, he cares for us, so nothing to worry about that. But the thing is like this, then when pralaya comes, Lord does not want to sustain material universe anymore. He desires to withdraw and everything is gone. I will stay, I will stay, I will stay. But you cannot stay, you'll be flushed out by the waves, by the tsunami or pralaya. You cannot maintain, you cannot keep this material body, you cannot keep subtle body, you cannot do anything on your own without mercy of the Lord. And this is described here. Okay, so now the Lord, while lying on his bed of mystic slumber, Yoga Nidra, generated the seminal symbol, golden in hue, through his external energy out of his desire to manifest varieties of living entities from himself alone. So now this is the concept from Garbhodaka Vishnu, Hiranyagarbha Purusha. We were already discussing, I'll not go in details there. But hear this. Just hear from me how the potency of his lordship divides one into three, called the controlling entities. See, the potency of the lordship is divided into three. Look at it in Sanskrit. Adi-daivam, Adi-atmam, Adi-bhutam. Now, usually we use these terms for Adi-atma, Adi-bhuta, Adi-daiva kleshas. The difficulties caused by devatas, difficulty caused by our own body and mind, and difficulty caused Adi-bhuta by other living entities. But here in the creation, this term refers to something else. Here, they refers like this. Just hear from me how the potency of his lordship divides one into three, called the controlling entities, Adi-daivam, the control entities, Adi-atmam, living entities, and the material bodies, Adi-bhutam, in the manner mentioned below. So these three now refers to this thing, the devatas who controls them, the us who are controlled, and the bodies. We kind of control the body, but we are controlled by devatas. Huh? Prabhupada said, you think you're in charge for this body, but sometimes you sleep on your hand and in the morning you cannot move it. That numbness comes. So what, you supreme control, what you will do? You'll see later Prabhupada pinches another few points, how much we are controlling. You are in control. Okay, grow your hair. Of course, we are voluntarily shaving, but when you get old, can you grow it back? My body. Okay, chalo, push it, grow it. Can you do? Anybody? You cannot. So you see, I mean, the reality is how much we are into control, how much we are controllers. Not much. Okay, so now the creation stuff. From the sky situated within the transcendental body of manifesting Mahavishnu, sensory energy, mental force, and bodily strength are all generated, as well as the sum total of the fountainhead of the total living force. Now now creation starts. Now all required energies are projected from the body of the Lord. Now he's going to assemble the universe, Virat Rupa. As the followers of a king follow their Lord, similarly, when the total energy is in motion, all other living entities move. And when the total energy stops endeavoring, all other living entities stop sensual activities. Now this is interesting. Just like this, when the baby, the embryo in the womb of a mother, when embryo is growing, different things appears. First, from the small bubble-like combination of sperm and the ovum, the jiva enters in, and then the slowly material elements develop around it. Around spirit soul, material elements develop. Slowly take shape, and then slowly head appear and legs appear, and this is one after another. So same thing now. The all ingredients are now mixed, and Lord is going to, in Virat Rupa, manifest same thing. The sense of hearing, sense of touch, sense of smell, the body, his legs, his hands. Just like this body is developed because soul is present, now the universe going to appear, being manifested because the super soul, the Paramatma, he is present in it. Prabhupada explains in this purport. The individual living entities are completely dependent on the total energy of the Supreme Purusha. No one has independent existence, just as no electric lamp has independent effulgence. Each and every electrical instrument depends fully on the total powerhouse. The total powerhouse depends on the reservoir of water for generating electricity. Water depends on clouds. The clouds depend on the sun. The sun depends on creation, and creation depends on the movement of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Thus, the Supreme Personality of Godhead is cause of all causes. Look at the link. So simple. We are so proud. Oh, we have light, artificial sun. We have a light bulb. But life depends on powerhouse. Powerhouse depends on, well, how you do generate power. Either is thermo, either use coal, or you use the natural flow of the water, or you use the windmill, but you are using something of nature. All of these are created by God, wind and the river and the coal. And who created those? Krishna. So if we are thoughtful like this, we see Krishna everywhere, Krishna's energy. So therefore we say, switch off the light, don't waste Krishna's energy. Close the tap, don't waste Krishna's energy. Don't waste the food, every single grain should be used. It's Krishna's energy. Don't waste your life, it's Krishna's energy. No, don't waste time, don't waste money, don't waste opportunity given to get moksha, human form of life. So why? Because you can see the link, you can see the thread to Krishna. Okay, next shloka says like this. The living force, being agitated by Virat Purusha, generated hunger and thirst. And when he desired to drink and eat, the mouth opened. Now this is now creation. From the desire, the senses are created. From desire of hunger and thirst, the mouth is created. First comes desire. You want to do something. First thought comes, the desire comes. Then the gross action takes place. So from the desire of living entity to enjoy separately from the God, material world is created. From the desire of living entity to be enjoyers, to be happy separately from Lord, material world is created. So now, by the desire of Virat Purusha, first thing, hunger and thirst, they come. And same thing, okay, I'll read from the purpose. Prabhupada says, the process by which all living beings in the womb of the mother develop their sense organs and sense perception appears to follow the same principle in the case of Virat Purusha. the sum total living entities. Seems like the modern science says also that first thing experienced by the embryo is hunger and thirst. Then slowly, slowly, mouth comes. Then slowly, slowly, other limbs are developed. So same principle described in Bhagavatam for the Vishwarupa, for the Virat Purusha. Same thing is happening in the womb of the mother with embryo development. Therefore, the supreme cause of all generation is not impersonal or without desire. The desire for all kinds of sense perception and sense organs exists in the Supreme, and thus they take place in the individual persons. This desire is the nature of the Supreme Living Being, the Absolute Truth. So God is a person, He has desire. Because of our desire, we act. We are longing, anandamaya abhyasat. We want to be happy. Why you are sitting here? Why did you come? Why you are sitting here? It's not convenient. You are sitting on the floor, and the subject is not at all Krishna Leelas. Srishti is also Leela, is also Madhuram, but has to be a little taste developed for this one. Why you are sitting? Because you want to be happy. You want to something good. You think I'll get benefit, I'll be happy. By hearing about Krishna, I'll get love of God, I'll stop repeated birth and death. By desire, everything is moved. Everything is moved by the desire. So when we enhance this desire to love Krishna, to serve Krishna, then we can achieve Laulyam, Atamulyam Ekam. The desire must be very strong. The strongest desire must be that we serve Krishna, surrender to Krishna. Then you get moksha. Then you come out of material world. But desire is the nature of Krishna. He also has desire to associate with us. He is also feeling, where are these fellows? Where is this Gokul? How many lifetimes I'm waiting for him? It's a problem, no? But we are making Lord suffer. He's feeling for us, no? But we don't care. We say, wait, one more round. One more round. I'll do one more round. The child playing. Let's go home. One more round. Let's just do one more round. All right. Because he has the sum total of all mouths. The individual living entities have mouths. Because God has a mouth, we have a mouth. Because God has a body, we have a body. God has desire, we have desire. This is how it works, not that something independent we have. Similarly, with all other senses and sense organs, here the mouth is symbolic representation of all sense organs, for the same principle applied to others also. Okay, next. From the mouth, the palate became manifested, and thereupon the tongue was also generated. After this, all the different tastes come into existence so that the tongue can relish them. So then the tongue is manifested. Taste. Purport. Prabhupada says, the gradual process of evolution suggests the explanation of the controlling deities, Ādi-daiva, in this case, Varuna. So now, taste comes from the tongue, from the palate. And then Varuna is presiding deity of it. The mouth becomes the resting place for the tongue, which tastes all different relishable juices, of which the controlling deity is Varuna. This suggests, therefore, that Varuna was also generated along with the development of the tongue. So when Lord manifests these different senses, he creates the controlling deities of the senses. Every of our senses has his own presiding deity. The Surya is presiding deity of the eyes, the Varuna of the tongue, ears, Vayu. There will be, now we'll be going through that all. That not every single part of our body is controlled by some particular devata. Nothing is in the control. No? You can't control. The tongue and the palate, being instrumental, are adibhutam. So the gross part of the body, the tongue, the palate, that is adibhuta, the body, or forms of matter. But the functioning deity, who is living entity, Ādi-daiva. Who is the functioning deity? Varuna. Whereas person undergoing the function is Adi-atma. Thus, the three categories are also explained as to their birth after the opening of mouth of the Virat Purusha. The next shloka says, when the Supreme desired to speak, speech is vibrated from the mouth. Then the controlling deity, fire, was generated from the mouth. But when the Supreme was laying in the water, all this function remained suspended. Purport. The peculiarity of the gradual development of the different senses is simultaneously supported by their controlling deities. It is to be understood, therefore, that the activities of the sense organs are controlled by the will of the Supreme. So that our body functions is under control of the Lord. Now, if it does not function, say somebody cannot speak, or somebody has tic in the speaking, or somebody has problem with the eyes, that again, deity, controlling deity is giving us this type of so-called troubles due to our karma, due to reactions to our previous activities, but they are controlling it. How much this fellow should see? 75%, reduce the power. And then, where are you? I can't see. I can't read. I cannot see. Everything is blurred in the distance. No? They are controlling. Everything is under control. All of us are born with the eyes. Most of us we could see from the childhood. No? Now power is diminishing. What is the message? Go to the doctor, get the glasses. Well, that's the immediate kind of, but what's the ultimate message? Huh? We are not controller, or you may say that why I'm suffering, why is this old age enforced upon me? Yes. No, I'll have to die. It's a sign. Body is going to be worn out. Eyes are going off. Nose not picking up any more smells. The hands are getting rough. Huh? What did you say? I can't hear you. Ears are getting deaf. So it's a sign that soon we'll be ready to change the body. Body is temporary. Use your life perfectly. Use your body in Krishna's service. Should be utilized properly. These are all messages. These are all to make us aware, think, oh, and also think about my karma. No? Why I lost eyesight? I was a good boy, therefore I lost eyesight. No? I did something good, definitely. The senses are, so to speak, offering a license for the conditioned soul who are to use them properly under the control of the controlling deity deputed by the Supreme Lord. You read this one. What a statement by Prabhupada. Really, I mean, only Prabhupada can write like this. No? Senses are, so to speak, offering a license for conditioned soul. Okay, you got the senses. No? Like a rent a car. I give you a rent. Now, drive carefully, don't damage. You should use properly. Because it's not your car. You rented the car. We rented the body. Krishna given us this body. Use it properly. If you rent a car, you have to take care of it. You can't. Whatever you scratch, whatever you crash, whatever damage, you have to pay for it. No? So here it is. The senses also, so to speak, senses means this body, offering a license for conditioned souls who are to use them properly under control of the controlling deity deputed by Supreme Lord. So Lord is not directly supervising, Devatas are supervising. No? Ādi-deva. One who violates such controlling regulation has to be punished by degradation to a lower status of life. Prabhupada immediately gives an example. Consider, for example, the tongue and its controlling deity, Varuna. The tongue is meant for eating, and men, animals, and birds each have their different tastes because of different licenses, because of different bodies. Okay? No? When you are covered in the body of a dog and with mind of a dog, your taste is different. You may not be super impressed with your chakra pongal. Taste is different. Okay, the taste of human beings and that of swine are not on the same level. The controlling deity, however, awards or certifies a particular type of body when the particular living entity develops a taste in terms of different modes of nature. So human supposed to eat sattvic food. Dogs are eating bones and flesh. Pigs are eating whatever they are eating. I'll not mention before breakfast. If the human being develops taste without discrimination, as does the swine, then the controlling deity is certainly certified for the next term to award him the body of a swine. You want to eat like a pig without discrimination, whatever. It doesn't matter. Eating meat, eating meat. Eating eggs, eating eggs. Eating, what they're eating nowadays, you know, God knows what they're eating. All kinds of things. No, if you see Chinese menu, you'll be surprised. Everything, whatever is moving, is eatable. You know? Apart from auto rickshaw, maybe. The swine accepts any kind of foodstuff, including stools, and a human being who has developed such indiscriminate taste must be prepared to a degraded life in the next life. Such a life is also God's grace, because the conditioned soul desire body like that for perfectly tasting particular type of foodstuffs. If you want to eat all kinds of nonsense things, then the human body is not good. Swine is very good. Bigger mouth and very good palate, no problem. Little extra salt or little burn, no problem. If a man, for us is little salt too much, you cannot eat. Little burn, cold, not good. Yeah. Quantity too much, again, stomach problem. Quantity too less, I'm hungry. Pig has no problem. Did you ever complain? You hear complaint from pig. Hey, next time put a little salt, in that whatever you are giving me, the night soil. If a man gets the body of swine, it must be considered the grace of the Lord. Why? Because Lord affords the facility. You want to eat anything, become a pig. It's better. Your desire. It's not that God is punishing. He is providing for you. Want according to desire. This is the point. This is the catch. According to desire. Desire is created by association of particular mode. If you live in Tamagun, if you don't take bath, if you are dirty clothes, if you are eating the old food, stale food, meat, something from yesterday, something spoiled, fermented with fungus on, it influences consciousness. Then you become dull. Then you desire lower desires will be created. Then Rajagun, too much spicy, too much chili, too much tamarind, too much deep fry, too much oil, too much spices. That push you, get you disease, by the way, but it also pushes you to develop different desires. And then we have sattvic food. You have a lot of fruits, milk, sweets, grains, different vegetables, fresh combination. Then that situation in sattva gun. And what to speak of devotees who eat prasadam, completely transcendental. So according to association with different modes, different tastes will be developed, different desires will be developed, desires for different activities will develop. Therefore, the regulative life in Christian consciousness, you have to take bath minimum 2 times, 3 times a day, fresh clothes, rise early in the morning when sattva gun is prominent. Now, rising 12 o'clock. We called yesterday a fellow, we are calling for crane. We want to rent a crane. And you can see 12 o'clock. You can see, you can see he's brushing teeth and speaking on phone, 12 o'clock. Definitely sattvic person. What do you do? They are different birds, owls. They sleep at daytime and they work nighttime. Many candidates are there in the bigger cities. They daytime sleep, 12 o'clock he's brushing teeth, and nighttime he's working. And Bhagavan said, you are suffering in human form of life. You can't do it properly. Become oval. Whoop. Then all night. Inauspicious sounds. But definitely inauspicious. Any bird in material is inauspicious. After that, the next body is offered by superior control, not blindly. Karmana daivane trena. Not why you have this body like this. Why you are born in India, I'm born in Europe. Because you are pious people. Punya Bhumi, Bharata Bhumi, Karma Bhumi. Therefore, it's not by coincidence. There's no coincidence. There's ignorance thinking that coincidence is there. There's no imperfection in Lord's creation. Everything is under control. Human being, therefore, must be on his guard as to what sort of body he's going to have in the next life. An irresponsible life of indiscrimination is risky. And that is the declaration of all scriptures. No? We have Brahmin families. They never ate meat, they never ate eggs, they never even garlic, onion, they didn't try. But now they go to the shop and they buy cakes. I say that, sir, maybe some eggs in the cakes. Did you ask them? We cannot check all these things now. Okay. What is the next life? Somebody who doesn't check. You see, it's like this. This is desire you develop. Ignorance. Why? Because no more hearing of Shastras. You are Brahmana, but you are working in some company, software company. You're not doing Brahman Janati Iti Brahmana. No, you're not studying about Brahman. You're not hearing Shastras. You do not know that there is controlling deity presiding over 8 senses. You do not know that Varuna is there and he is vegetarian. He doesn't like all these things you want to eat. And he said, all right, you are misusing human form. Here you go. Next life. Eat like monkey. Whatever you do, eat. Who cares? No. So you see how it works. It is reality in life. Okay, next shloka. Thereafter, when the Supreme Purusha desired to smell odors, the nostrils and respiration were generated. The nasal instrument and odors came into existence, and the controlling deity of air, carrying smell, also became manifested. Okay, Prabhupada explains. The nasal instrument, odor, and the controlling deity of air, smelling, etc., all become manifested simultaneously when the Lord desired to smell. So Adi-Daiva, Adi-Bhuta, Adi-Atma, all are present there simultaneously. The Vedic mantras confirm this statement in the Upanishad statement that everything is first desired by the Supreme before the subordinate living entity can act upon it. So Lord, anyway, it's clear. The living entity can see only when the Lord sees. The living entity can smell when the Lord smells, and so on. So the power of seeing is from the Lord. The idea is that the living entity cannot do anything independently. He can simply think of doing something independently. Think of doing something means desiring doing something. But he cannot act independently. This independence in thinking is there by the grace of the Lord. Even this independence to think, even the potency to have desires, that's also coming from the Lord. But the thinking can be given shape only by the grace of the Lord. And therefore, the common saying is that man proposes and God disposes. Man proposes and God disposes. Why? Because man has no power. I want this, but you have no Shakti to do it. I want to go to the moon. But you have no power. No? But if God will, we'll go to the moon. The whole explanation is on the subject of absolute dependence of the living entities and absolute independence of the Supreme Lord. This is another gem given by Prabhupada. Look at this. The whole explanation is on the subject of absolute dependence on living entities and absolute independence of the Supreme Lord. Correct? And this is what today's shloka says in Brahma-saṁhitā. Everything is coming from him, maintained by him, fully depends on him, and destroyed by him. So he is supreme. The whole explanation is subject to absolute dependence. Now Prabhupada preached so much this. Unless you understand that you are conditioned, you are dependent on the Lord, you will not understand Krishna consciousness. You must, how much Prabhupada preached, we are not his body. This much he preached, you are controlled, you are controlled, you are controlled. We are under control. You have no choice. You have to get old. You have to get sick. You have to die. You got this body. Nobody asks you which body you want. According to previous desires, you are about this body. Family, birth, country, life duration, life breath, fixed. Everything is done. Controlled. We are controlled. Less intelligent person claiming to be on equal level with God. Now Prabhupada is pinching to the impersonalists who say, I'm God, you are God. You are completely under control. What kind of God are you? Look at this. That less intelligent person claiming to be on an equal level with God must first prove themselves to be absolute and independent. And then they must substantiate their claim to be one with the God. Okay, so you say you are God. Okay, let me see. Let me see. When urge comes to pass water, can you hold it, Mr. God? You are in control. Not this urge. All of our urges God's control. Correct? So it's a ridiculous, foolish idea to think I'm God, you are God, all these things. Thus, when everything exists in darkness, the Lord desired to see himself and all that was created. Then the eyes, the illuminating God's sun, the power of vision, and the object of sight all became manifested. No? We are seeing because of sun. If there is no sun, you can't see. We have bulb now. Yeah, it's just artificial sun, basically. But the point is same. Without light, whether it's light coming from sun or it's coming from your bulb, but without power of light, your eyes cannot see. So our vision depends on God. Who created sun? Who created electricity? Where is coming from? Again, our power to see depends on God. It's so clear. So what is the Surya? Surya is Chakshush. He is eye of the Lord. So without Lord seeing, we cannot see. Without Lord hearing, we cannot hear. All this are described. Are you okay? Everyone okay? Hare Krishna. This is the second canto of Bhagavatam. Development of desire of the great sage to know, the ears, the power of hearing, the controlling deity of hearing, and the objects of hearing became manifested. The great sages desired to hear about the self. When there was a desire to perceive the physical characteristics of matter, such as softness, hardness, warmth, coldness, lightness, and heaviness, the background of the touch sensation was generated. Namely, the skin pores, and the bodily hairs, along with the controlling deities, the trees. Now, the trees are controlling deities of the touch. Very interesting. Within and outside the skin, there is a covering of air through which the touch sensation becomes prominent. So, if you see in the, anyway, it's so much to discuss. Okay. Thereafter, when the Supreme Person desired to perform varieties of work, the two hands, now working senses are manifested, okay. The two hands, they're controlling strength, and Indra, the demigod in heaven, became manifested. And also the axe depended on the both hands and the demigods. Not only the hands are working senses, but types of activities are assigned also. So this is interesting, no? So far you had the senses of acquiring knowledge senses, seeing, smelling, touching, hearing, tasting. Okay, and their objects were created. The different flavors, different sounds, different smells, odors, like that. But now, when working senses are created, prescribed duties are also created simultaneously. Adi Atma, Adi Daiva, Adi Bhuta. So this is also interesting. Prabhupada explains. In every item we can note with the profit that the sense organs of the living entity are never independent at any stage. The Lord is known as the Lord of the senses, Rishikesh. Thus the sense organs of the living entities are manifested by the will of the Lord, and each organ is controlled by a certain type of demigod. No one, therefore, can claim any proprietorship of the senses. So therefore we say, Rishikena, Rishikesha, Sevana Bhakti Ruchate. With our senses, we should serve the Lord of the senses. The living entity is controlled by the senses. The senses are controlled by demigods, and the demigods are the servants of Supreme Lord. We are controlled by the senses. We cannot control tongue. I'm hungry. Stop this class. 9 o'clock. Come on, prasadam. You know, can't control. No? No? Something you say, I get angry. Cannot control. No? Anyway, that is the arrangement in the system of creation. The whole thing is controlled ultimately by Supreme Lord. And there is no independence of either the material nature or the living entity. So why? Now people say, why, oh, Bhagavatam, we should read Krishna Leelas. Why about this Srishti creation we are studying? To understand that everything is linked to Lord. To understand everything is controlled by the Lord. To understand how it works. Who are the Devatas? When you understand who are the Devatas, then you cannot equate them to the Lord. How can you equate them? How can you say all gods are same? When Garbhodaka Shiva Vishnu creates all the Devatas, Aham Adir Hi Devanam. No? The illusion living entity who claims to be the Lord of his senses is under the clutches of external energy of the Lord. He is in Maya, basically. As long as living entity continues to be puffed up by his tiny existence, he is to be understood to be under the stringent control of the external energy of the Lord. And there is no question of liberation from clutches of illusion, Maya, however much one may declare himself a liberated soul. No? Okay, so how we are doing? Okay, I'll skip few. Or maybe this is interesting. Okay. Thereupon, because of his desiring to control movement, his legs became manifest. And from the legs, the controlling deity named Vishnu was generated. By his personal supervision of this act, all varieties of human beings are busily engaged in dutiful occupational sacrifices. Thereupon, for sexual pleasure, begetting offspring, and tasting heavenly nectar, the Lord developed genitals, and thus there is the genital organ and its controlling deity Prajapati. Sexual pleasure and its controlling deity are under control of the genitals of the Lord. Purport. The heavenly pleasure for the conditioned soul is sexual pleasure, and this pleasure is tasted by the genitals. The woman is the object of sexual pleasure, and both the sense perception of sexual pleasure and the woman are controlled by Prajapati, who is under the control of the Lord's genitals. So again, you have Adi-atmic, Adi-bhautik, Adi-daivic. The impersonalist must know from this verse that the Lord is not impersonal, for he has his genitals, on which all the pleasurable objects of sex depend. No one would have taken the trouble to maintain children if there were no taste of heavenly nectar by means of sexual intercourse. Correct? Look at this. No one would care to create children if there is no some pleasure in the process. This material world is created to give the conditioned soul a chance for regeneration, for going back home, back to Godhead. And therefore, generation of living beings is necessary for upkeep of the purpose of creation. Look why sex exists. Look at this. Look at this definition. Material world is created so the jivas who left the spiritual world can fulfill their desire. So progeny has to continue. Therefore, sex is given. But nobody will do it, progeny, unless there is some pleasure in it. So Lord has put pleasure for it. Sexual pleasure is an impetus for such action. As such, one can even serve the Lord in the act of such sexual pleasure. Kamosmi bharatarshaba. If you do dharmic sex for the progeny, that gives pleasure to the Lord and delivers you. Actually, you don't get bondage. The service is counted when the children born of such sexual pleasure are properly trained in God consciousness. The whole idea of material creation is to revive the dormant God consciousness of living entity. So we make children. Why do we make children? That, okay, we are practicing Krishna Bhakti. We are engaged in devotional service. So let us have children. Let us have many children. Why? Because we can give them Krishna Bhakti. We can teach them how to worship Krishna. We can teach them about holy name. We can engage them in devotional service. And they will fulfill the purpose of creation. Is what? To reclaim, to go home back to Godhead, to come back home back to Godhead, to stop this material repetition of birth and death. So this is the best population program, that only devotees should have children, according to the Bhagavatam. Otherwise, what is the use? Creating this population, Varna Sankara. In forms of life other than human forms, sexual pleasure is prominent without any motive of service for the mission of the Lord. It's a mission, it's a service to the Lord. But in the human form of life, the conditioned soul can render service to the Lord by creating progeny suitable for the attainment of salvation. One can beget hundreds of children and enjoy the celestial pleasure of sexual intercourse, provided he is able to train the children in God consciousness. So there is no problem with sex. Why you are against sex? We are not against sex. We are against enjoying separately from God. If it is done as a sense of duty and dharma, for Lord's pleasure, for fulfilling the purpose of creation, to fill the universe with progeny, then it's okay. Otherwise, begetting children is on the level of the swine. Rather, the swine is more expert than human being because the swine can beget a dozen piglets at a time. One dozen, at least 12. Where the human beings can give birth to only one at a time. So one should always remember that genital sexual pleasure, the woman and the offsprings are all related in the service of the Lord. And one who forgets this relationship in the service of Supreme Lord becomes subjected to the threefold miseries of material existence by the laws of nature. Look at this. Even sex we can see related to God. Everything. There is no taboo. There is no prohibited subjects. Excuse me, Swamiji, what about sex? Any other questions? We will not discuss. No, we'll discuss. The God created genitals to do the progeny, to make children Krishna conscious. Otherwise, no. Don't make children like cats and dogs. Simply for sense pleasure. That's not the point. It's to make them Krishna conscious. That's the idea. No, we have no, everything is clear. Everything that exists has a link to Krishna, can be used in Krishna service. This is Krishna consciousness. This is the beauty. Perception of sexual pleasure is there even in the body of dog, but there is no sense of God consciousness. The human form of life is distinct from that of dog by the perception of God consciousness. Then goes on. No? Thereafter, when he desired to evacuate, the refuse of the eatables, the evacuation hole, anus, and the sensory organ before thereof developed, along with controlling deity, Mitra. The sensory organ, the evacuating substance are both under the shelter of the controlling deity. Prabhupada writes in purport, even in the matter of evacuating stool, the refuse is control. So how can living entity claim to be independent? Again, pinch to these people who claim, I'm God, I'm God. You can't even answer the call of nature without blessings of Mitra. So, okay. So then goes on. Okay, I understand the difficulty. Okay, many nice things are there. Okay, so many things. I'll skip a little bit of few quotes. You can read Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, 2nd canto, chapter 10, shlokas one after another. I'm just reading and commenting. Okay, so now Okay, so this is Vishwarupa, Virat Rupa created. I'm really skipping a lot now. Okay, doesn't matter. So that's all. Then after creating all of this, the Lord given bodies to so many living entities. Okay, from me, know from me that all living entities are created by Supreme Lord according to their past deeds. The living entities included Brahma and his sons like Daksha, periodical heads like Vaivasvata Manu, demigod like Indra, Chandra, Varuna, the great sages like Bhrigu, Vyas, Vashishta, the inhabitants of Pitri-loka, Siddha-loka, Charanas, Gandharvas, Vidyadharas, Asuras, Yakshas, Kinnaras, and angels, Gandharvas, the serpents, the monkey-shaped Kimpurushas, the human beings, inhabitants of Martya-loka, the demons, Pishachas, ghosts, spirits, lunatics, and evil spirits, the good and evil stars, the goblins, animals in the forest, birds, household animals, reptiles, mountains, the moving and standing living entities born from embryos, from eggs, from perspiration, from seeds, all others, whether they be in the water, on land, or in the sky, in happiness, in distress, or in mixed happiness and distress, all of them, according to their past deeds, are created by Supreme Lord. No? So this is Bhagavatam. This is what we have to understand. No? He is the personality of Godhead, as the maintainer of all the universe, appears in different incarnations after establishing creation, and thus he reclaims all kinds of conditioned souls among humans, non-humans, and demigods. Bhagavan comes in all 84 legs of species to save the conditioned souls. In all 84 legs of species, avatars come. Thereafter, at the end of the millennium, the Lord himself, in the form of Rudra, the destroyer, will annihilate the complete creation as the wind displaces the clouds. Wind comes and all clouds are gone in no time. The great transcendentalists thus describe the activities of Supreme Personality Godhead, but the pure devotees deserve to see more glorious things in transcendence beyond these features. So now I know why you people are a little bit feeling boring on this class. You are devotees. You see, the shloka says that devotees want to see more glorious feature of the Lord. What is this creation? Insignificant thing. No, so I understand your feelings. There is no direct engineering by the Lord for the creation and destruction of material world, because Brahma creates, Shiva destroys, correct? What is described in Vedas about his direct interference is simply to counteract the idea that material nature is the creator. So this is another beautiful verse. These are all shlokas there, you know. Okay. So anyway, goes on. Next chapter goes on explaining time. Manu's time, different kalpas, atomic time, universal time. Mind-blowing, no? All those things are there. So why we are studying all of this? What is the message? What is the point? Let me see in my notes. Why bother with all this knowledge? Okay, Srila Prabhupada explains. The soul is assailed by these miseries, as long as he harbors the delusion that something exists outside of Krishna. We are suffering till we don't see everything related to Krishna. Therefore, when one is situated in transcendence, one feels happiness even in this world. Even when you become devotee, although we are still in material world, we feel some happiness because we know everything is under control of Krishna. The mundane conception of life is product of the three modes of material nature, which affects the mind and the senses. But when one's vision is transformed through Buddhi Yoga, one sees everything as having direct link with Krishna. The material elements, such as the fire, water, ether, and mind, along with the directions, the soul and time, everything material and spiritual, personal and impersonal, all reflects Krishna, the Supreme Being. When one reaches this state of realization, the dualities and illusion of sin and piety, happiness and distress, and are dissolved by the ecstatic harmony of transcendence. So when we realize, when we link everything to Krishna, no more sufferings, no more dualities, dveshas of material world. In one of Upanishad, there is a statement that once a person experiences the happiness derived from Brahman realization, he no longer has anything to fear. A verse from the Ishopanishad conveys similar mood. Yasmin sarvani bhutyani atmaiva bhut vijanataha. One who always sees all living entities as spiritual spark, in quality one with the Lord, becomes a true knower of the things. What then can be illusion or anxiety for him? So this is why we are studying this. This is what, to get free from suffering of material world, to be Krishna conscious, to actually fulfill the goal of human life and see everything through the eyes of Shastra, see everything through the eyes of scriptures, to see everything through the Krishna conscious vision. So this is the idea. So this is the shloka today. Thank you very much. Śrīla Prabhupada ki jai, Śrī Brahma-saṁhitā ki jai, Gaur Premanande. Hare Krishna.